Welcome to Glorious Botafogo, your number one source of Botafogo news in English. Today, Botafogo beat Bangu for the Campeonato Carioca at home by 2 goals to 0. They were scored by Santi Rodriguez from a free kick and Alex Telles from a penalty. Botafogo gets yet another win, solidifies itself in the Carioca 2026, looking good to make it into the semifinals of the Taça Rio. And if Botafogo wins the group, Botafogo will win the Guanabara Cup, I believe, if I am not mistaken on that. It's a reduced Carioca this year due to the World Cup and how the schedules are aligning. There's a lot of changes this year, but it's looking good. Botafogo sitting in first right now with 9 points, and it is the club that has the best campaign so far. Everybody else has 6 points. The teams that do have 6 points have 6 points. And Botafogo currently has 9 with 3 wins and 1 loss. Of course, there's Fluminense still left to play. Volta Redonda still left to play. So we will see what is going on tomorrow as Flamengo and Fluminense. So that's going to be a good match. Boa Vista and Vasco da Gama also play tomorrow. Earlier today, John Textor went on Arena Alvinegra. It's a new channel by Thiago Franklin and Pedro Dappi and Bernardo Gentili, which is quite a team of Botafogo journalists. They created this mega channel together, and due to the latest happenings in the Botafogo ecosystem, let's say this way, with a transfer ban from FIFA, and Botafogo lost Savarino to Fluminense, and a couple of days ago it came out that Botafogo almost lost Danilo for free. Danilo was going to break his contract with Botafogo due to having 2 to 3 months of owed image rights. There's a lot happening, and the club was working with the possibilities of being on a transfer ban until the middle of the year. John Textor was MIA. Nobody knows about anything. There's no answers from the club. The supporters today got together to protest at the Newton Santos before the match. During the match, the supporters were outstanding. It was nothing but support for the group. But today, John Textor finally revealed himself and spoke a little more of everything that's been happening at Botafogo. Now, the American owner, said a few things earlier today, and one of them was that Botafogo is going to get a injection of cash, and this was approved as of 2 days ago by the Ego board of directors. He spoke also that it was hard for him to come to public to talk about these things because there's an NDA agreement and all of this. But the club is about to get an injection of cash from 2 different investors that were investors with John Textor at Fubo TV. I don't know if you ever heard of Fubo TV. If you remember Fubo TV, that is a company that was started by John Textor and a couple of partners. Well, now those partners are partnering up again with John Textor. They are not lenders. They are investors that have a pathway to ownership at Botafogo. And this was approved by Ego Football. Now, remember, Eagle Football is also aka John Textor. We're not talking about Aries or anything like that, which is what the issue is right now is Aries. And also, as we come to find out before and now again today, John Textor speaking how Michelle King is also a big part of why Botafogo is having all of these issues because she shut down the idea of sharing resources. Olympique and I end up keeping a lot of Botafogo money. So this is where the cash flow issues that the club has been having, this is where it's coming from. Now, John Textor says, yes, that we have a lot of debt, but it's player debt, which is different than the debt that the social club had. That John Textor took on that debt and has decreased it quite a bit. That is true. And the debt that we have is player debt, debt with other clubs, but also our team value, the value of the players that we have in the squad, our squad value has also increased and is more than our player debt. Joe Texer once again said that all of this news that Botafogo owes Olympique Lyonnais money, that is not true. The report that Olympique Lyonnais set out in the past, alleging a bunch of things that is also categorically false, according to John Texter. He can prove it. It's already been proven internally during different audits and all that the board at Eagle Football knows all very well about everything in all the wires that's been happening. About 140 million euros went to France, and then 40 million euros or so was coming back to Botafogo in different installments. And that the net the Lyon owes Botafogo is 34 million euros, which, Brazilian money, it is a lot of money, and definitely 34 million euros for cash flow, operational cash flow. It does get in the way, and it would get in the way, like it's getting in the way now. So John Texture does have a point there if he's being truthful. Again, if he is being truthful during the interview as well. Thiago Franklin asked, if he's not able to solve these problems that he's having right now, if he's not able to follow through on his promises, would he give up ownership of the club? Would he give up control of the club? John Texas says that is nonsense. That is not happening. That the club, 90% of the club is his. He's not going anywhere. And that he said the Botafogo will continue to fight for championships, including this year and every year that he's owner of the club, that he will not tune down expectations, always being in the top three, like John Texter has said in the past, that his plan was to always have Botafogo fighting for the top three spots. He said that's not changed. That is not changing. It hasn't changed, and it will not change. So only time will tell exactly what is happening here. If John Texter is telling the truth, it's hard to think about these things. The last 2-3 weeks at the club have been nothing but chaotic. There's people behind the scenes talking that, there are people inside Botafogo that are the real enemy, that John Texter is not really the real enemy. There's other people in the background talking about different things, and Texter not saying anything, Tairo Ahuda not saying anything. But finally coming to public today to answer very hard questions. Bernardo Gentili, Pedro Depp, and Thiago Franklin were not easy on John Texter. But he showed up and he answered the way that he knows how to answer. So we will see. Only time will tell. Texter also said to expect something like next week, but is also the deadline to sign players for the Carioca. So this transfer ban has to be gone by next week for us to be able to sign these new players. He also gave green light for Botafogo to sign the remainder of the players who were either in limbo or negotiating in the past, and that are now finally able to complete a transfer due to this new money that is coming in for Botafogo. If you got in here so far, please leave a like. Please subscribe to the channel. It really helps. If you're watching here on X, please drop me a follow, like, and repost this video so it gets to more Botafoguenses around the world. Now, Botafogo will return to the Carioca Championship in a few days. Remember, this is going to be very quick turnaround of matches here. Botafogo will be back next. Just kidding. Botafogo will return Thursday, January 29th at 6:30 p.m. for the debut in the 2026 Brasileirão, which begins 3 months earlier than usual due to the World Cup. So the first match at home, Botafogo and Cruzeiro. This is the first of 5 matches. 4 matches in a row. The first one was against Volta Redonda for the Carioca. Now Bangu for the Carioca. Cruzeiro for the Brasileirão. Again, Thursday at 6:30. I will miss this match. It is very unfortunate, but I will not be able to watch Botafogo and Cruzeiro. And then Botafogo and Fluminense on Sunday, February first. At 5:30, I may be able to see that. We will also see if I'll be able to watch Botafogo and Fluminense. But yeah, 4 matches back to back to back to back at home. It's good for the supporters. It's good for everybody to put more people at the Newton Santos because we need more supporters at the Newton Santos. It was a tough 2025 and it's been a tough beginning to 2026, but we have to keep showing up at our home to support the team in this very long year. And I'm not sure exactly how it's going to be, but all we can do is hope for the best and hope that this transfer ban falls through the beginning of the week and that we can sign all the players that we need to sign so Martin and Anselmi can have everyone that Botafogo has acquired ready to go for not only the Brasileirão, but also for the continuation of the Carioca.